flipped a raft and somehow managed to land on what must have been the sharpest rock in the history of man. Cut her knee to the bone. Ugh. She had to have stitches inside and outside. You want to see a picture?
My butthole clenched.
That's how you know it's a good one.
Welcome once again to Know a Snark, where two former religious types and current snarks take a look at religious media on its own terms.
My name's Hillary.
And I am Josh, a.k.a. There's a gnat in my house, and I will tear this place apart. One of us dies today.
A gnat?
Yes. I have a gnat.
Is it real?
No, it's a real gnat. And
Yep.
one of us is going to die today.
Did you just... Oh, God.
No, it's been bothering me.
I haven't seen it yet. Usually I'm very sensitive to those things.
Mm-hmm. Just so you know.
We might be live streaming our own deaths.
The death of a gnat. Yeah, if it happens, I'm knock everything over. I'll kill my computer and everything.
Are you kidding me? I'll join you.
I'll
break this glass on this table.
I want to talk really quick about some hits and misses. Do you have anything that you'd like to talk about?
No.
Of course not. So what are we doing today? Hillary, let's talk about it. We're finishing.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Mm.
I'm going back. We do have a miss because it's the same miss we had the last time we did one of these.
Oh, no.
Hannah.
Oh, that's right.
Now, here's the thing. She's a very good baker, and tomorrow, she's doing one of her bake sales, so she's prepping today. She has to get all of her shit together.
I'm not saying she has a bad excuse. Right. I'm saying
But we do miss her.
Yeah.
And we wanted her here, and she could have been here, but last week didn't. It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But the point is, maybe some pastries are in order for the future so that we can sort of feel like we have Hannah around for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want on our next episode, we can just bring some...
Hannah pastries?
Yeah. Or, one of us could bake something.
Oh, that's a good point.
You can make chicken pies.
I have been meaning to.
The honey chicken pies?
I know, they're really good.
I'll throw in on it. I'll have a paycheck by then.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Okay, honey chicken pies. Maybe I'll wait until I can get some chicken that's like...
Quality?
Well, like cheap.
Oh, yeah.
Quality, but cheap.
Right.
As I always buy meat.
Worth it.
Worth it.
Okay, I got you.
But okay, sorry. We're missing Hannah, but that should tell the audience kind of what we're doing today. So what is it?
Preemptive apologies, guys. We are doing Prodigal Planet, the fourth in the series of Thief in the Night.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, man, I'm proud of me.
Part 4 of a 4-part series. And I'm going to do this on this one episode because we haven't done it for any others, sort of expecting that you've either heard our episodes or familiar.
Right.
So I'm going to give a very brief rundown on the previous 3 plots.
Okay.
So that we know where we are standing here.
Previously on.
Yes, I don't want you to have to see or hear the trash heaps that is this stupid series to understand this one.
Oh, I love the idea that anything you could say could help you understand this one.
Okay.
But go on.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
Yeah.
The first one, Thief in the Night. We meet Patty. Patty makes friends with Christians who explain to her the end of the world and the rapture, where people who are saved through Jesus will disappear and the rest of people will be stuck on earth with the Antichrist, where they will try to take over the world and give them a mark of the beast. Mm-hmm. And if you have that mark, you go to hell.
It
period.
also gives them a last-ditch effort to possibly get brought back up into heaven.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have to suffer if you're going to go to heaven in this case, because you can't have the mark. You'll be ostracized from governments and other people. They're going to chase you and hunt you down and try to kill you. Mm-hmm. But you have to resist and choose Jesus instead, because otherwise you burn forever.
Right.
Patty has this experience. She does experience it and the rapture. She falls off a bridge and dies. Except we find out at the end that she was having a dream, a prophetic dream. Except when she's woken up, the rapture's already happened. Right. So she had a prophetic dream from an asshole.
Yes.
Because by the time she could wake up and do anything about it, it was too late. So part 2 picks up with Patty again.
Yeah.
Living in the new Antichrist, Unite. Unite is the one world government that's going to take over everything. She tries to resist Unite. She is hanging out with a couple other Christians. It's a stupid movie where they do like 6 flashbacks. The whole movie is just a series of flashbacks with very minor dialogue in the modern time.
Yeah. And all of them negate the need for the first movie in the first place.
Right. Because again, the first movie was a flashback.
Right.
Or was a dream that didn't matter. But she has some context for things because she had that dream. Mm. So her friend, Frankenstein, and Diane. Mm-hmm. Diane is her real friend. Frankenstein is her husband. We've been calling him Frankenstein this whole time. He has a name. We're not going to use his name. His name is Frankenstein.
He's a terror to look at.
Right. Right. That's why we call him Frankenstein.
Correct.
She tries to make friends with them because they're joining up with the one world government, but they don't seem so bad. But she doesn't trust them because they're the ones who threw her off the bridge. Blah, blah, blah. They get captured. At the end of the movie, she finds out that they are guillotining people, or guillotining people, because that's the way you'd actually say guillotine. They're guillotining people to death as execution, as punishment. Mm-hmm. So she's brought out at the end of the movie to her guillotine, where she is going to be executed.
Right.
Third movie.
Yes.
Trying to keep this really brief.
No, you're doing
Am I
great.
making sense?
Of course you are.
I didn't write this down. This wasn't planned.
I know. You're looking me in the eye. You're not looking at your iPad, and I'm very, very excited about it.
All right. So the third movie, Patty dies at the beginning. She, last minute, decided she would take the mark of the beast. She didn't want to die here. Mm-hmm. An earthquake happens. All of the soldiers run away. They can't give her the mark, but she's turned on Jesus. Mm-hmm. She tries to break out of her guillotine. She can't. Her head comes off. So we have to assume Patty is burning in hell for all eternity now.
Definitely, yeah.
Then we get a new main character. This is David. David's a creep. Mm-hmm. David's a weirdo.
Yep.
David tries to hit on a girl that he just met. She gets shot. He abandons her because she thinks she's dead. She's not dead. They reunite at the end. Then they get captured.
Yes. She
gets killed after he convinces a baby to die for Jesus as well.
Right.
That's more or less the plot of that one.
Yeah.
That one's the easiest.
And just as long as the others.
Yeah, just as longer, actually.
Was it?
Yeah, they've getting progressively longer. But oof. I want to go over that end scene one more time.
Okay.
He gets captured with his woman and a baby, some other woman's baby. He's like 3, let's say, 3-year-old child. The woman has the baby accept Jesus. So the kid gives her his red balloon. David sees the red balloon fly into the air, so he assumes the kid has died because it was carrying the balloon before.
Right.
But the kid wasn't executed then, so the soldiers bring the kid into the room with David, and they say, this is your last chance. We'll let the kid go if you tell us where the other Christians are, basically. He's supposed to betray them. He will not betray them, and he says, you're going to kill the kid anyway. So he goes to the little kid, and he says, hey, Davey, I think his name was? No, what was his name? Doesn't matter. Little kid. He goes, hey, little kid. Kid's going to be dead in a second. Hey, little kid. I want you to go out there and be really brave and just think about how much you love Jesus. And in our most triumphant moment of this entire series, David convinces a small child to get his fucking head cut off. And we're supposed to feel really proud of him.
Yes.
Because that's what we're watching.
David's the good guy.
David is the best guy.
He is the hero of the story.
And he talks the baby into getting his head cut off. Yeah. Now, he's technically right that they probably would kill the kid anyway. Although, would they? I don't know.
Either way.
I'm not going to root for the guy who told the kid to get his head cut off.
You're right. But also, obviously within the logic of this scenario.
Right.
That is the best thing you could do. But it's also the same mindset of familicides.
Right.
Or it's just I'm going to save you from this horrible time on Earth. I'm going to kill you all so that you don't have to live
in this horrible world and possibly go to hell.
Right. Or you don't have to deal with the consequences of my gambling addiction. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of thing.
That's the logic, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Moving on.
Okay. But that's the whole series to this point. Mm. And now I'd like you to describe this latest movie in one sentence, please, if you can.
I can, and I will. A super dweeb mansplains his way through the final days.
He does mansplain his way through the final days. That's good.
Thank you.
Mine was just the lamest apocalypse ever, and we've seen plenty by now.
It's true. It is the worst of all the apocalypses. Apocalypse?
Apocalypsi.
Ellipses. Apocalypses.
So, let's just cut through it because we both want this to be over.
Yes.
The first thing I noticed about this fucking movie is it was 2 hours long. Mm-hmm. 2 hours, Hillary.
I chose to start watching it at 9 o'clock last night, Josh.
That was your first mistake.
I do not blame anybody but myself, but it doesn't make it any less painful.
We open, as usual, with a quote from the Bible, "A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them." I don't know what quote it was because I don't really care. But this is the story of a few people in that wilderness that was described. And the narrator tells us that the planet Earth is dying and disease is the sin. No, sin is the disease. Alongside some radio guys asking permission to fire missiles. It doesn't matter. The missiles are going to be fired.
Yeah.
This might be a mini-sode, as me and Hillary were talking about earlier.
Yes, that's
because we
goal.
don't want this anymore.
One of the first notes I made on this episode was, God, I hope we can make this a minisode.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But they're going to launch missiles. Nuclear war happens, okay? And I'm going to be honest. I'm making it easier because this movie is impossible to follow. Nothing happens, and when stuff is happening, it's unclear.
It is shockingly dull.
Yeah, we're watching nuclear war right now.
We're watching Nuclear War in the End of Days, and I fell asleep more than twice.
Yep.
And not because I was tired. It was because every time I'd wake up, it would just be, here's the sounds I heard. Right. Oh, is that the gnat?
No, that's the sound on this fucking movie. We're watching it on Amazon Prime. This is the highest quality.
Right.
Constant just
Yeah, you're right.
It's just background
noise. The quality's
noise.
bad.
The audio is bad.
Yeah.
The acting is bad. Everything's bad.
There's,
anyway.
Yeah, go.
While they're firing missiles, the narrator is shouting Bible quotes at me. And honestly, part of the reason I zoned out was because I zone out when people do Bible quotes at me.
Yeah.
I don't think I can physically pay attention when someone is just reading the Bible at me.
It's like when people start talking about business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, synergy.
Business words.
Granular.
Business words. It's why I can't watch The Office Space is a funny movie.
Yeah.
But they talk about business.
Yeah, TPS reports and stuff.
Can't do it. Even as a joke.
So, we catch up with the last movie, starting where it stopped. And David is standing before a guillotine and being asked if he's willing to abandon God and take the mark of the beast on his right hand, or, of course, his head. Mm-hmm. But he would never agree to that. This is interjected with him flashing back. I don't care. I'm skipping that scene.
Do you think God would find it funny if you got it on your ass? If you did it ironically, that he'd be okay with that?
That's a good question. I don't know.
You're like, you could put it right here.
But we flash back to David's childhood, where his brother tried to beat a train and crashed miserably and exploded because
his brother was as dumb as he is.
Yes. And we find how good a mom he had, because his mom basically took the opportunity of his dead brother to threaten him with eternal hellfire. Because she said, your brother died without accepting the Lord, and if you die like him, you'll burn in hell for all eternity.
She's already forsaken her dead son.
Yep. It's been a day?
Maybe.
Maybe a week.
She's like, I don't see the point in mourning. He made his choices.
It's so weird. And so...
Also, were you... spoiler alert for this a little bit. Were you also disappointed that there wasn't a train budget in this movie? Because we got one train. I'm like, train budget. There's gonna be so many trains. No, just one.
There's 2 trains.
Is there 2 trains?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We'll get there. You might have been asleep for this part.
Maybe.
But we'll get there. There is at least another train.
Okay.
So there's a train budget. But a bizarre song opens us up, as always, because it's weird, and it plods like all Christian music, but I do remember part of it. And it says, not one thing this world offers you in exchange for your soul can take your guilt away when time is no more. So.
Okay. I blacked out.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's horrible. But basically, Jesus is coming hard all over you, and he's pissed.
Is he pissing or he's coming?
He's pissed. I don't know. Point is, he's coming. It's going to be all over you. You can't escape.
Gross.
Yeah, you're not going to like it. Because he's pissed. Mm-hmm. So a soldier is now being asked why David...
Sorry, he only eats fish. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Gross.
I know.
A soldier is now asked, and he's being scolded, why was David taken over to the execution platform earlier? The boss man thinks that it's a personal matter. You know, like Frankenstein was trying to execute him.
Right.
But soldier explains that David was a serious threat to their computer security. And so if he's left alive, he can be a serious problem. Mm-hmm. But Frankenstein from the previous 3 movies and the sort of boss here explains that he's going to be part of some plan to weed out the very religious David and help him lead them to the other believers in whatever network they have. But of course, it's pointed out he'll never cooperate. But Frankenstein thinks that his zealotry can be used against him. And so they're going to go forward with this plan. So as David is being escorted somewhere, a woman comes in and she sticks up the Unite guards. Again, Unite is the one world order.
Right.
The world government, the bad guys.
The Empire.
The Empire. She rescues David. We have to assume this is part of the escape plan, or the elaborate plan, right?
Right.
Like, they were just talking about an elaborate plan, and then he gets rescued. So I'm like, she's obviously a bad guy.
Right, yes.
But I'm going to operate on that assumption from here on out, and her name is Connie.
Yes.
So we meet Connie.
Connie the con artist.
Oh, that's good.
Ah.
She tells David that she's a double agent for the Believers Underground, and they're escaping from the big nuclear missile that we saw fired earlier, because obviously nuclear fallout is bad.
Right.
The world's already in it. It's a nuclear apocalypse. And he wants to be uncuffed, but she's afraid of what he'll do if she does uncuff him. Mm-hmm. So she pulls over and gives him a nice ocular pat down.
Yeah.
And the music is reminiscent enough of porn jazz that for a second, I wasn't sure where this movie was going.
Mm-hmm. And I continue to not be sure for the next at least 3 minutes, I guess, in this exact...
Yeah, because I was going to continue. Because as soon as she uncuffs him, again, there's porno jazz sort of happening. And he grabs her, and he knocks her onto her knees in front of him.
Yeah.
And I'm genuinely like, what the fuck is happening?
Very awkwardly, too.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's supposed to be like kind of a weird, smooth move kind of a thing where he now has control over her body.
Yeah.
But it definitely also seems like he's about to bend her over his knee or like do one of those weird romantic side kisses.
Mm-hmm. But she's down on her knees in front of him, and it is a scene from a porno.
Yeah.
Like that one where, those really weird ones where it's like, it's supposed to be a really young girl, and you're her dad's friend, and you're in the stable.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is this happening? And why is this always the weird fantasy you guys have?
It's just like some sort of punishment scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's just like standing in front of him like, oh, what is he gonna do?
Right. She's immediately, she just went from having the upper hand to having no problem having the lower hand. And she stays in that exact position for the rest of the movie.
But it turns out he was just checking to see if the mark of the beast was on her forehead was real or not.
Yeah.
Not assaulting her, so.
No.
Cool.
So, man.
She uses alcohol to wipe off the mark that's on her hand, and she explains
It was her face. It was on her forehead.
Oh, it was. You're right.
Yeah.
But she explains that the underground needs him to create a worldwide technobabble. Who cares? Yeah. The plot of the movie is he needs to find a place to go to do tech stuff.
Yes, and the writers still, to this day, to the day that this was made, don't know what computers are capable of, or how they work. Yeah.
But they have this RV that's from Unite, and they're going to travel around. So it's a road trip movie. This is a road trip movie.
Yeah.
It's an apocalyptic road trip movie.
Sounds fun, doesn't it?
It would be. It could be.
It could be.
So,
they could not have found a guy with less charisma, though, to play the main character who's going to be in every frame.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah. So she also has this weird coded message that's supposed to guide them to where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
It says, countless ages, hell's foundation quivers, blend your voices, 1842, war, church, and forward. Mm-hmm. This is a mystery through this entire fucking movie.
Right.
And I'm skipping an entire scene where we meet another false preacher who's like an older man who explains to them the entire apocalypse.
He was in the second one. Or
that was the guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was the one who like lives in the woods and is definitely a prepper.
Yeah. Okay. But they did the whole scene with him, and he sort of helps David figure out this stupid coded message. I'm skipping the whole scene.
Yeah. Only in this kind of movie
pointless.
would this type of guy be considered knowledgeable.
Right.
Or helpful.
Right. Usually they're insane.
Usually he's one of those guys who is covered in Confederate flags and has 12 guns on his person at all times.
Right. But we learn that Brother Christopher is the Antichrist, and he's taken over the world, and he guillotines people who resist worshiping the beast. I'm American. My instinct is guillotine. I know it's wrong, but I can't not have that be the first thing.
If it helps, they call it a guillotine.
They do. That's
so if you do want to be true to this story, you have to call it guillotine.
Okay. But they're explaining that God's judgments are coming soon, and that is going to be boils that happen on everyone that's not a believer. Right. So if you're a believer, you don't get boils. And then blood will infect all of the water, making fresh water very rare. Then the sun itself will be super hot and burn you. Then complete and total darkness, and then the Euphrates River will dry up. Then earthquakes, and just before that, or the earthquakes come just before the Battle of Armageddon, where all of the world's armies will gather each other and kill each other one last time. Then they try to kill Jesus, but obviously that's not going to work.
No.
And
when does the water turn to blood? Isn't that part of it?
Oh, it does. It happens.
No, but was it not in the list?
Oh, yeah. I did say that, didn't I?
No, you said the water dries up, or something dries up.
Oh, after the boils, the water turns to blood.
Oh, did I miss that? I'm sorry.
I think I said it.
Yeah, you probably did.
We'll find out. You'll have to do the edit, so you'll know.
Future hit or miss.
So, I'm really looking forward to that last bit. Like the part where Jesus kills all the armies in the world. But then I realized they're never going to show us that.
They can't afford that. They spent all their money on trains.
Yeah, lame-ass producers of this stupid-ass movie. So David and Connie come across a pair of women being attacked by mutant marauders, or raiders.
Yeah.
And they rescue the women.
Or reavers, which is all I could think of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But get used to hearing about mutants, because there are people who have been hit by the nuclear apocalypse, who haven't died, but are very, very ill. And they have scars in their faces, and some of them have hunchbacks, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're all mutants.
Yeah. And they all dress like monks.
Yes, they wear black robes.
Yeah.
They do at least address it, which we'll get to maybe.
Right.
But, yeah, they just wear black robes.
It's like leprosy.
Yeah. Basically, I'm going to tell you now, they wear the robes because, as the person who explains it says, it's just like the Middle East. We do it to keep the sun off of our skin because it hurts.
Right.
Which is fair.
Well, also, not like the Middle East, because their skin doesn't hurt because of it.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, the whole Middle East is not mutant. I think that needs to be established.
I wouldn't put it above these people to believe it.
Right. That would make me Middle Eastern.
Wait, what? Oh, because it hurts your skin.
My skin responds to the sun very poorly.
Right. So they rescue the women, and David's now working on decoding this mystery message, and he realizes that he's supposed to go to New Mexico. And it's so goddamn boring, I just keep asking, why is it happening?
Yeah, I know why.
We have to watch this man talk to himself.
You want to know why?
Why?
Hannah, that bitch, started this ball rolling and did not participate.
Then she
abandoned us and did not give us cookies. She's on my shit list.
She's on the shit list. But I'm just watching this fucking guy talk to himself. Oh, countless ages, hell's foundation quivers.
He's solving a simple code in real time.
On screen. Like, we watched, what was that movie? The Omega Code?
Yes. Oh,
that had similar stupid codes.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to watch them try to decipher it on screen.
It's true.
You watched them get the message on screen, and then you would get the answer. And they'd say, oh, that's the answer. There we go.
Yeah.
I don't need to see this man contemplate to himself. It's like watching someone solve a fucking jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
For 20 minutes. It's like, why would you watch this?
No. I wouldn't watch that.
No one would. That's insane.
Unless the person sitting there doing the puzzle and talking to themselves is someone full of charisma that's really fun to watch.
Not this guy.
It would have helped. If Robert Downey Jr. was in this role, he would have made this interesting somehow.
You're right. He'd probably been high as shit at the time.
Yeah, he would have. 70s?
This is like 84, I think.
Oh, no, this actually came out 83. It said on Amazon or whatever. What did we watch this
Amazon.
on? It said it was 84 there. I'm like, oh, great, the year I was born.
The year I was born.
Nope, 83 is what it says on Wikipedia, so whatever. Not interesting.
So we head outside the RV and talk to the rescued women, and we find out that Linda is a scientist, and she worked for the Radiation Research Society, and she feels responsible for creating the mutants because she helped bring nuclear apocalypse to the world. Through whatever happened, she was part of the society. Shit got nuked. And now the mutants also hate her because she's also responsible for them being mutants.
Right.
And they have nuclear cancer, and that's her fault. And she basically helped ruin the world. So she feels really bummed about it. And we also get a crappy version of why she wasn't a believer, despite her husband being one and trying to lead her the right way. Because remember, fellas, it's up to you to make sure that you get your women in line.
Right.
Her husband failed, and look where she is now. She's stuck with David's weird ass and Fist of the fucking North Star.
Yep. The men are good and smart.
And the women must be led.
Oof.
Is that a joke you get? Fist of the North Star?
Fist the North Star?
Fist of the North Star.
No, I don't get that. What is that?
It's great. All right, I'm going to tell you about Fist of the North Star
Please
real
do.
quick.
That sounds way more interesting than this.
Fist of the North Star is one of the greatest anime/manga to ever exist. And I'll tell you why. It is about a man named Kenshiro. It's a nuclear apocalypse. The world is over. So it's mostly desert. He runs around in Desert Town, and he's a very nice fella. He's also an expert martial artist.
Of course he is.
But when I say expert, you'll see.
Okay.
So he goes into town, he says, hey, I would like to live here, or at least pass through here. Is that okay? They say, yeah, it's fine, but we're being attacked by raiders. This happens all the time. It's every episode. Technically, his girlfriend was stolen from him by his, like, arch enemy, but his real thing is going town to town fighting guys on motorcycles with spikes in their helmets.
Awesome.
So, the raiders will come in, and they say, you're a fucking loser, I'm gonna kill everyone here. And Kenshiro says a phrase in Japanese that some nerds really know by heart, but basically, he tells them, you're already dead. Mm-hmm. So he fights them, and they pretend they're super strong, tough guys, and he punches them, and then their fucking heads explode. Yes. Because when I say expert martial artist, I mean he knows all the pressure points in your body and can make it blow up in any way he'd like.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
So he'll just go, he is this really loud, like, ata, 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 ata.
That's gonna be fun to listen back to.
Yeah, so you have a second, and then you just fucking blow up. Like, you'll walk away, your arm explodes off your body, and it flies. It's hilarious. My favorite of all
like the last scene in Kingsman?
Yeah! Yeah! But yeah, so he does this crazy shit, and he can do it with anything. He did this one where he touched this dude's brain, pressure pointed his brain, and he felt guilty for the last 10 seconds of his life about every horrible thing he'd ever done.
Oh, buddy.
So he's like, oh, I'm the worst, and then his head explodes.
That's how I'm gonna go.
But my favorite is the guy who's pretending he's Kenshiro, because obviously he gets a reputation. Mm-hmm. So he's pretending he's Kenshiro, and he says he knows all the pressure points too. And Kenshiro's like, do it, bitch, because he knows that very few people, and he knows all of them, knows these things. So the guy says that he's going to do a move, and in 10 seconds, Kenshiro's going to die. So Kenshiro's like, okay, count down. And the guy goes, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. When he gets down to 3, 2, 1, he says, oh no, and his own head explodes. Because Kenshiro killed him before. It's a ridiculous show. It's amazing.
That sounds amazing. And is this a hint towards your watch this, not that?
Absolutely.
Oh, amazing.
We can say it now.
Oh, gorgeous.
All right. But, sorry, I just wanted to explain that. You don't know it. I want to show you some of it. It's amazing.
I will watch some of that with you 100%.
Yeah. It's just it's a crazy mess. And the anime, the first one, was not very graphic. It was bloody. But they mostly did, like, lights exploding and stuff. Mm-hmm. Some of the movies, disgusting.
Yes.
Ugh, it's gross.
I love it.
All right, sorry. My point is Linda's stuck in Fist of the North Star with this asshole because her husband didn't lead her right. So make sure your husband treats you right and make sure that you believe what he believes.
Yeah. Ladies.
Ladies.
If you take anything away from this monstrosity, be more subservient. Oh my God.
It's really what we've learned through this entire series.
It's true. This entire podcast.
That's true. But we also meet Jody. She is Linda's daughter, maybe?
Yeah, it's her daughter. Well, yeah, it's her daughter.
Well, she's a bitter teenager who's really mad at God for taking away her nice, comfy, middle-class white girl life.
She is a 10. Level 10, angry all the time.
Okay, I thought you were saying, like, attractiveness.
No.
She's a 10 on the bitch scale.
A 10 on the bitch scale.
She's a teenager, though. She's allowed.
I guess.
But David continues showing off how clever he is, and he deciphers the message, and he's also messing with Unite's computer system. And Connie's a very good spy, and she keeps pretending that she doesn't understand what he's saying, but she's very interested, because she's a fucking spy, and he's an idiot. And like Hillary pointed out, he's very happy to have his masculine ego stroked, and he'll explain his entire plan to her as much as she'd like.
And as much as we would not like.
Yes. But he says he could destroy the entire Unite system if he only knew when it was being backed up, because then he could wipe out the actual system and the backup at the same time. Mm-hmm. Then we see Frankenstein and his Unite goons covered in boils, just like the old preacher guy said. Mm-hmm. So just know, boils are happening, which means that God's judgments are rolling out. And everyone in town is roaming around, and we notice that Connie is being stalked by a man in a cloak. And there's also a skeleton in the street as she's walking. It's so fucking weird. Yeah. It's spoopy. But it's like, she's going to work?
I don't know. I can see the scene you're talking about, but I hear nothing and remember nothing.
She's walking through town. There's a skeleton that still has clothes on.
Yeah.
It's so fucking strange. Because then we watch Linda and Jody in town just fucking around, sort of shopping for clothes, but not shopping because there's no one to shop from.
Fashion montage.
Yeah, and Linda won't take the clothes because it's stealing.
Yeah, but
no, it's not because everyone's dead.
Yeah.
These clothes belong to no one.
But the worst part is the trying on clothes in the mirror. Her way, I did not know that the way that you try on clothes is doing the robot.
I was thinking you were going to mention that.
Yeah. For too long, too.
Yeah, like at first it's like sort of, oh, that's fun. She's having fun. But then it like keeps going.
It just keeps, it changes angles. So we see it from another side. She's still doing the robot in this one outfit. Oh, God, Jesus
It was
Christ.
very strange.
Yeah.
But like, why won't you take the clothes? They don't belong to anybody. Everyone's dead.
All the clothes. This is what we've talked about before, which is my dream of being the last one left on Earth and going through people's shit. I'll wear everyone's clothes.
But like, this scene is completely unnecessary. But Jodie is eventually confronted by a scarred man in a hooded cloak, and he tries to calm her down, but she runs away screaming because he might be one of those crazed mutants from earlier.
Right.
So Frankenstein and crew come into this town, and they see Linda. And they also see the mutants, but they also see Linda roaming around. And so they chase Linda and the mutants away, and they realize that Linda was carrying a painting, which she apparently was fine taking.
Yeah.
But it was a painting where Jesus is peering into a building like he's a fucking kaiju. It's a skyscraper. And the painting is a giant Jesus looking into the building. So he's 200-foot tall Jesus or more.
God, people's idea of Jesus is terrifying.
It's so strange.
It's so creepy.
And he's like, I'm here for you guys in this office building. It's such a weird... It's like, okay, so first off, she wouldn't take the clothes, but she'll take this painting.
Right.
This belonged to somebody, too. Mm-hmm. And it's such a weird fucking painting. What is...
I don't like it. I can definitely see myself seeing something like that at like Goodwill, though.
When I was a kid,
we
had a painting of Jesus on our wall, and it was him walking on water. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. What the fuck is this kaiju Jesus?
Jesus is everywhere.
It's so weird.
Even major cities.
Yeah, just looking into you while you work.
Yeah.
You just sit at your desk. I see you taking a nap. This is stealing. You're stealing time from the company. I'm capitalist Jesus, and I'm here to punish you. Like I just don't know what it's about. But anyway. We see Connie, she's like in a basement, and she's also being cornered by mutants, and she gets rescued by Frankenstein and crew. And Jodie is eventually hunted down by her mutant that's chasing her, but it turns out that he doesn't want to hurt her, he just wants help. He just wants her.
Wait. Connie is the one who's like the super spy.
Yes.
Then there's the scientist.
Yes.
The teenager is the scientist's daughter.
Yes.
Okay.
Jodie's the daughter.
I thought you had asked me earlier if she was Connie's daughter, and I felt like I might have said yes.
I think I said Linda.
Okay, well, either way, now we're saying what's true.
Yes.
Not that any of it fucking matters.
Jodie is the daughter of Linda, who is the scientist. Jodie's a teenager and an asshole.
Yes.
Connie is clearly a spy.
Go.
But we're pretending that she's not a spy.
Right.
But she's a fucking spy.
Right.
Connie gets stuck in a building with mutants. Jodie gets chased by one. Jodie does not want to hurt her. He just wants help. Linda... ran away from Frankenstein and just made it away. Mm-hmm. Because we catch up to everyone. Connie gets rescued by Frankenstein and the rest of the crew. And Jodie's new mutant friend is...
His friend?
Is left behind by David because he doesn't trust men with scars in their faces. Yeah, so Jodie's like, this is my friend! And he's like, nope, fuck that. And he grabs Jodie and drives away.
Right.
But Jodie calls him out for being a pretty shitty believer.
Right.
Which eventually prompts him to turn around. And so now we've picked up Quasimodo, our mutant pal.
Yep.
That's not his name, probably, but it is now. He's
There's
Quasimodo.
No reason to even worry about his name.
So Jodie and Quasimodo confront David on him talking to Linda about the great plan that God has for her. Because apparently he's been talking about this the whole time. Because the only interesting thing about David is that he believes in Jesus.
Yes.
So Jodie's like... Yeah. And Jodie's real bitter about all his useless beliefs, and Quasimodo doesn't believe it either. So he's like, she's gonna need proof God exists if she's gonna believe any of this crap.
Yeah.
And I say, good attitude, Jodie, I like this one. She's a bit of a jerk.
Except she's also living in a time that is proof. It's not something that would ever happen in real life.
That's true.
But in the context of this movie, she's just an idiot for not believing what's right in front of her face.
That's true. That's the thing. Like, I don't believe any of this shit. But if the rapture happens, I'm right away. Because guess what? I can see what's in my face.
Right. Yeah, if there was proof, once again, yeah.
Like, hey, I still don't worship you because I think you suck.
Right.
But I believe it.
Right. That's it.
So, I hope that's good enough to get me into heaven because...
Love to get up there and try to take him down.
Just get the knees. Just bite him on the ankles.
Let Satan in the back door.
Oh, you let Satan in the back door, huh?
Shut up.
Ha ha, Hillary.
Gross. And maybe.
He's a good-looking man.
My car cost $666 today.
Ooh.
I know.
Cool.
Spooky.
Did you draw attention to it?
I did. And the guy goes, no, and 97 cents, you're fine. I'm like, I wasn't worried about it.
But can you bring down the 97 cents?
I'm like, can I get a 97 cent discount?
That's what you should have. Okay. But basically, Jody is being a jerk about it, but she's also like, this is bullshit. This is obvious bullshit. But you're right.
Yeah.
She probably shouldn't believe that in the time where it's proof.
Right.
But David threatens her with her impending death, a blood clot or something that could kill you at any time. And of course, when you die, you're going to burn in hell forever. But she doesn't flinch. David, you suck at this. But Jody isn't interested in his load of bollocks, but Quasimodo was intrigued. And so we get a nice long conversation about Jesus and salvation with the mutant boy. It's boring, so we're skipping it. But Quasimodo then tries to talk Jody about it later that night. And he tells her that she's being a teenager, she's being a jerk. And he tells her, you know what you need? You need a good spanking. That would solve your problems.
Yep, and that's what I noped right the fuck out of this movie.
He tells her that she's going to listen to one thing now, despite how pretty you are. Because you might be super pretty on the outside, but your inside is all fucked up and scarred like his is.
I was so glad I wasn't a woman in the 70s.
And only Jesus can fix you.
Yeah, commencement of the negging.
He's negging her real hard.
Real hard.
Says, you're super attractive and I want to totally do stuff to your body and your face and stuff.
Yeah.
But you're ugly on the inside and Jesus will help you. It's like, you look like me on the inside. So really, we're the same.
Yeah.
Because I'm better than you on the ends. It's fucking...
Yeah. I might be dying in front of you. My face is peeling off, but we're on the same level. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But now I have something else. Because while this is happening, David and Linda are talking about Jesus again. And she wants to know if it's still possible to accept Christ, in this late stage. And rather than tell her a yes or no, he reads her a Bible quote. And my response is, it's not a goddamn political debate. Just say yes or no, you fucking asshole.
Yep.
But he continues reading Bible quotes, and Linda isn't quite ready to commit to the Lord yet. And Quasimodo prays by himself, and he asks to be cleansed. So now we know that he can go to heaven. This is going to be important, because the next morning, David gets a bearing from Connie. They are talking over a walkie-talkie. Why they separated, I don't know. What she's doing, I don't know. Why he's listening to her, I truly don't know.
I thought I blacked out again, but that is true.
It's hard to follow.
Where the fuck did she go? Why is she over there?
No one knows.
Okay.
But they're in radio contact.
Right.
And she tells him to go somewhere, and this leads them, accidentally, of course, to a confrontation with Frankenstein and crew.
And a helicopter.
Because they can hear their radio, and so they're giving chase to David. And they're eventually caught, but while being interrogated, Quasimodo causes a distraction, because he pretends to have leukemia.
Yeah. Did I jump ahead to the helicopter? Where are we?
There's no helicopters yet.
Okay, but it's... Okay, I thought...
There could be one. I don't know.
No, I thought we were eking towards the end, but I guess
we're close-ish. I'm running
you're
through
doing
this.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He pretends to have leukemia, he gets inside their van, and he drives it away. And you may remember Frankenstein. He's a fucking track star. Mm-hmm. Because Quasimodo drives this van away, Frankenstein catches it.
Yes.
He fucking gets inside and he gets in the back of the truck. He puts Quasimodo in a chokehold.
I do vaguely remember.
And they drive off a cliff.
Yeah, he's a fucking machine.
He's a fucking machine. Because in the second movie, for the audience who might not have seen it, in the second movie, Patty runs away from him because, again, she knows he's bad.
Right.
And she was right, as it turns out. But he's still pretending not to be. Maybe he doesn't know he is yet. But he chases Patty, but he goes full track star, he runs like an actual, track meet would.
Right.
He's got the hands out, and he's just booking it, and he catches her easily.
Yeah.
And we've been joking that he was a track star. And this, if anything, makes it very clear. He caught a van. He
could probably pull off the get out, challenge.
The turn. Yeah. But point is, he catches the van, they drive off a cliff, and both of them are dying or dead. Because the van's about to explode, this causes enough of a trouble that David and the others can escape from the other soldiers. And Jody remembers the words that she received from Quasimodo about Jesus and how great he is. And as he's dying, she feels inspired. Because after all, he was willing to give his life to save them. And surely it was just because of the joy down in his heart. Where?
His cancer-ridden heart.
Where?
That mutant heart.
So David captures Captain Frankenstein, for reasons unclear, but he's alive and he's their prisoner now. David finally hears from Connie again, and they're moving to the next location. When or before they get there, who cares? He feeds Frankenstein and scolds him about how he sold his soul to Satan when he took the mark of the beast. But Frankenstein looks vaguely shamed. But who knows or who cares, really?
Right.
They get to where they're headed, and a helicopter lands. This is where the helicopter shows up. So David prepares for the worst. But Frankenstein says that he owes him one because he saved his life. So he goes to the chat with the helicopter people, and they take off. He may be a complete monster, physically and ethically, but he does have honor. Mm-hmm. Now we see Connie trying to get water out of the well wherever she's hanging out, but it's bad because, oh no, it's slightly red now because it's covered in blood.
It's period blood.
It's period blood from God.
Mm-hmm.
God's period.
God's period. God is a woman.
God, we always knew. Only a woman could be this spiteful. No, I'm kidding.
I'll take it.
I disapprove of my own joke. A different helicopter has managed to track down our protagonists and tries to gun them down. But the heroes of our tale manage to fend them off with machine guns because this is now an action movie and the stakes are very high.
Yeah.
Do you feel how stakes high are? Do you feel it?
No.
You were probably asleep.
I was asleep.
David realizes that the baddies are tracking them somehow. But he doesn't yet have the answer that he seeks. So we cut to Connie, and she's still reeling from the water being slightly red with blood. When a helicopter flies over her head as well. She's being watched by vultures, as though they're simply waiting until she dies of either thirst or heat stroke, whichever claims her first.
Yeah.
David contacts her to tell her where they're headed, and does some computers. He does computers to try to thwart Unite. Oh, I phrased it appropriately, because this movie doesn't know either.
He did computer.
He did computer. Connie is now confronted with a new plague, because after the water turns into blood, what happens? The sun itself heats up.
Oh.
So hot that it begins to melt the walkie-talkie that she had.
That raised my heart rate. I'm like,
I'm not ready.
I didn't study that hard.
Pop quiz, hot shot. What's the 4 judgments? Or whatever there are. 6, 7.
The sign of a good pop quiz, when the question is ambiguous, is the answer.
Who fucking cares?
Name them.
Name them. I don't know. But the sun gets so hot that the walkie-talkie she was using is melted in the sun. Because it is just an awesome mite of light.
Yeah.
So David and the others talk about how they can only go out at night now. Because otherwise death will take them quickly.
Yeah. Oh shit, what's that Vin Diesel movie? He's running away from the sun the whole time.
Oh, Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah.
On that planet, yeah. That was an insane movie. I liked it.
I kind of want to see it again. I liked it when I saw it.
It's interesting.
I like the series, actually.
Didn't they make
I think there were 3. I thought there were 3.
Yeah. But one's like an animated movie?
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think so.
I never saw the animated one.
Yeah, me neither. But their little cabin in the desert, David and the girls, is beset on all sides by mutants, cloaked from the sun, with their little hoods. So apparently you just need a hood.
Right. And aren't they just like sitting under a blanket while the car explodes from the heat of the sun?
That's Connie, yeah. So Connie is just living in like a little hut she's made, like a little tent with a blanket on it.
Right.
The walkie-talkie melts. A Jeep explodes.
Yeah.
Everything is ruined.
And she's just a little damp. Like she's just a
like,
little sweaty.
oh, it's sweaty.
Oh, hot.
So, whatever. But David warns the girls that the mutants will clearly attack that night. But he has a plan because he's just so brilliant. It's to run! At night! So he praises God for this minor opportunity they have, when Linda points out that that's fucking dumb because God's the one making things so bad in the first place.
Thank you, Linda.
Linda is a smart one. Connie... It's getting harder and harder to follow this so-called movie, but apparently they escape from the mutants, but are then confronted by helicopters in the daytime again. Mm-hmm. David realizes something in this conflict, and he begins to walk. He gets out of the car. He walks directly towards the copters. And they shoot at his feet at first, until eventually they don't shoot at all, as he does jumping jacks and little dances to point out just sort of taunt them, you know?
Remember when Ashley Simpson got caught lip-syncing on SNL?
Yeah.
That's the dance he does.
Oh, it is.
She did that little weird,
the little
hoedowned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he realizes at this moment that they are not really trying to kill him. They're trying to follow him, and they're trying to make it believable. Mm-hmm. So he realizes that Linda has been the spy the whole time, feeding Unite their location, so that he would think he was really a fugitive being chased, when really he's just being followed. Here's the thing that I don't have clear. Mm. Oh, you know what? Never mind. I got it. I thought they were shooting blanks, and that's what he was thinking.
Oh, yeah, no.
But no, they were missing on purpose.
Right, they were shooting around him.
So that's what he's realized. And Linda insists that she is not a spy. But David still thinks it was, but he does say, God forgive me if I'm wrong. But he seems to accept that she may not be a spy for now.
But I also thought that when he said, God forgive me if I'm wrong, and I thought he was going to, like, stab her in the chest or something.
Do something cool.
Right, or do something where, like, well, I hope I'm not wrong, but I do have to kill you.
Mm-hmm. I have to leave you here. But yeah, he just continues on, thinking she's a spy.
Yeah.
Being like, okay, well, you say you're not,
I got my eye on you.
Now it's nighttime, and I guess they didn't really escape from the mutants. They were just going out that day, because now they're being attacked by the mutants.
I can't handle it.
It's truly impossible to understand.
I can't handle it anymore.
It's insane. But here's the good news.
Okay.
As the mutants are attacking them, at just the right time, the plague of darkness comes. So the moon goes out too, and there's no light anywhere.
We have a brief respite with nothing to see on screen.
And the mutants run away because they can't see anything. You can't see the expression I just gave Hillary, but it's my most baffled expression.
Yeah, and just,
My eyes narrow. And I just...
Because, sure, that's just whatever.
Yes. In the morning, I guess the light comes back on, so it's a really shitty plague.
Yeah,
The sun comes out again.
Right, no, the plague happens overnight. So it was nighttime. It's the same thing. I know. Your perplexity is wasted on me. Perplexion?
My perplexion. It's like my complexion, but it's the face I'm making. Perplexion.
Yeah.
Alright, but the lights come back on, and David ends up finding the thing he was searching for through this entire movie. Because they're in the West Arroyo Rattan, which solves the war part of the puzzle.
Oh my god.
War. Rest Arroyo Rattan.
It's fucking...
And now...
all coming into place.
They just need to figure out what 1842 forward means. And in a clever bit of Adam West's Batman puzzle solving, he ultimately finds his new destination. You ever seen that movie?
Not the movie. I watched the Adam West show, the TV show.
So you still get it anytime they get a Riddler.
Completely.
In the movie, especially, is the one I remember the most.
Right.
They're trying to solve a puzzle because they're trying to figure out who caused this. And he's like, it's a riddle. Or like all the circumstance.
Yeah.
Gordon, the police captain, says, it all adds up to a sinister riddle. And so Batman says, riddle. Riddler. Clearly the Riddler's involved.
Yeah, but last show did a lot of tongue-in-cheek and stuff.
I know.
And I know that was
I'm
probably
not done
on
yet.
purpose, but okay.
I'm not done yet.
Okay, go.
Riddler. And then so, someone points out that they were attacked at sea. And he goes, sea. C for Catwoman. And then...
But no, I'm sorry, that's genius. That's
no, I know.
Just...
It's very funny. And I know it's on purpose.
Right.
But this is the level of puzzle solving we're getting
You're
here.
absolutely right.
Because he's like...
this is not funny or meant to be.
Right.
Yeah,
he's just like, 1842 forward. Well, if we go forward from the cliff... What's 1842? Kilometers? We have to go 600 miles to somewhere else. It's like, really, motherfucker? If it was a joke, it works. It's not a joke. It's a real thing in this real movie.
You're very, very, very right. What was the name of the movie that we watched for this show where they had terrible riddles? Do you remember what I'm talking about? They had like...
The Omega Code?
Was that... No, it was... I think it was one of the other...
Tell me one of the riddles.
They were bad. That is all I remember. It was like jokes. Like they were telling like punny jokes, but they weren't.
That was Samson.
Funny. Samson. That was it. Yes. Thank you so much. That was going to drive me crazy.
What's so sweet but so strong and powerful?
Right.
Like the one lion corpse you found with a honeycomb in it. Fuck you and your stupid riddle.
That was exactly it.
No, I know. It was
Bless
stupid. We made fun of it so much because it was dumb.
It haunts me to this day.
Stupid ass movie. Alright, so he does his puzzle solving, he finds out where they're going, and on the way over there, he hears the radio tell him that there's an upcoming war happening in Palestine, and the Euphrates River has completely dried up. And yet another one of the plagues that sets the stage for Armageddon.
Right.
This allows the armies of the world to cross into Palestine unimpeded, so we know that shit's about to go down. David realizes, in this new destination, that Jodie's the one who's been transmitting their location, though accidentally, because she's been using the radio in their RV to listen to music, which lets Unite track them down. Stupid teenager who's clearly a 25-year-old woman.
Yep.
They're trying to connect with Connie now to let her know where they're going when she is finally aided in the desert by a Unite soldier. Because remember, she's a spy for them, so they think she's one of Unite.
Right.
She's really the one who's been betraying their friends, though. She's been evil the whole time. I tried to warn you, but you didn't frickin' listen, did you?
I legitimately have a headache right now.
You should.
Oh
this is me watching this movie.
I can't wait for a cocktail.
Turns out she does have the mark of the beast on her because she pulls away a layer of fake skin, and that's been there the whole time. She has the mark on her hand.
Shut up.
And she had fake hand skin.
This is brand new information for me.
Yes. This is how we realize she's really bad. She's got fake skin. So the mark she had on her forehead was fake.
Right.
So she wiped it off. But she had a fake hand skin.
She had a hand-shaped glove.
Basically.
Yeah, a skin glove.
Mm-hmm.
Gross.
But she's mad at the fellow soldier that she was left here in the desert. But he points out that we've been dealing with the same shit you have. We had a helicopter blow up.
There goes our helicopter budget.
So then David also realizes that Connie's the one that's really been giving their position away. So there's a double reveal. What's going on with this shitty movie? Why is it anything the way that it is? There's still 10 minutes to go. Fuck me. In the face.
It took him a full 2 hours to not figure it out.
Yep. Then he figures it out, and we have 10 minutes to go, but we still have a lot of stupid things to happen.
We're supposed to be seeing war at this point.
Mm-hmm. David apologizes to Linda for accusing her of being a traitor to him and their cause, and explains his plan to distract Unite and head over to the cave where all the believers are.
Yeah.
Which is apparently where they've been headed this whole movie, which I'm only now learning. This is a true story.
They didn't tell us that. They never told us that.
For her plan, for her part, Connie is having an authentic crisis of faith because now she believes the Bible stuff is true because she was told about it and now it's all happening.
Yep.
But it's too late for her because she's been marked by the beast. Oh no!
Oh no! Cut your hand off.
So she and her driver get a message that they are headed the wrong way and to turn around. But Connie knows that that's not the case, and she warns him. But he doesn't listen. And as they move on, they get diverted into an oncoming train, which kills them in a fiery explosion.
There's train number 2.
There's train number 2.
Damn.
It's kind of awesome, not really. Connie was a lost cause anyway. She can't go to heaven. She already got marked. She's burning in hell no matter what.
Right. God the Forgiver.
Our heroes make it to their magic cave, and we realize there's a little colony of believers here that they can join. And I literally wrote down, oh, that was the point. They are saved.
The climax of the film comes within 10 minutes of the film, or the end of the film, and it is so boring.
Yes. They are saved and joined by their little people, the people like them. And Jodie decides to accept Jesus as her Lord and Savior just as Armageddon begins. And Frankenstein and his entire unit are devastated by an earthquake, and their little control command center collapses on itself. Linda, Jodie's mom, is still super scientific, and she's not quite ready to buy into the Christ thing just yet.
Scientists, dumb.
Yeah, or at least it appears. She hasn't said it yet.
No, they are the bad guys in all of these types of movies.
Frankenstein has survived the earthquake, but he's wounded, and he is in the ruins of his workplace crying in pain and fear. And he rips off his Unite armband in disgust as he is engulfed in an explosion, and the movie ends, finally, God, finally. The series is over!
We did it!
We've made it!
I can't believe it. I can't believe we're here. Did you ever think we'd get here?
Let's talk about the best and let's talk about the worst.
Okay, the best. Best.
Yes.
Is that it's over.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
Worst. The word spanking being used.
Yes.
Still haunts me.
The best for me is going to be how amused I was by the random skeleton in town that one time.
Did you laugh at yourself or
Absolutely.
laugh to yourself?
Yeah, Connie is walking through town, just walking around. We know it's a nuclear apocalypse, but to prove the point, they're just like, oh, look, a skeleton.
Yeah.
She ignores it. She doesn't pay attention to it. No one does.
Yeah.
Skeleton.
It was a nuclear apocalypse.
Yeah. But it's just
we're surrounded by skeletons.
just a random skeleton.
Just this one happened to be next to it.
And the worst for me was all how cringe-inducing every scene where David was mansplaining was. Because Connie's like, I'm just a nubile young woman, and I really need you to explain this to me. He's like, Connie, I'm very happy to do it.
She has this is just such a fucking wet dream for all of the, super hyper crazy believers who are just like, one day women will value my knowledge.
Alright, so let's talk about some things that are like this. That you should watch instead, because you should not watch this.
No.
Don't watch the series, don't start it, don't do it.
No, don't.
I'm gonna start, obviously,
Go.
like I said,
Yeah.
with the motherfucking Fist of the North Star.
Yes.
Kenshiro will explode your brain unless you watch his show. Okay? It's phenomenal.
Right.
Go.
Okay, I say watch Wait, make sure I'm getting the right one in my head. You're going to have to tell me the name. No, you'll know it immediately. Because I always want to call it The Day After Tomorrow. But it's the one with the zombies that Cillian Murphy is in. And it's like something 2 weeks.
Oh, man. I know this
2
one.
weeks ago. Something like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's not The Day After Tomorrow because that's the Jake Gyllenhaal movie.
Yeah, it's the somewhat zombie movie where they have rage.
Yeah, it's the rage zombies. He wakes up and it's basically like everything's gone. It's desolate.
I can't remember it either.
No, I do not look this up. I have to sit here in my shame real quick. What time are we at? Okay.
It's called 9 Days to Go.
9 days to go.
2 weeks later.
The week after next. It's like...
Is it called 2 weeks later?
It's 2 weeks something. Please, okay, look it up. I want to go to a movie, so hold on. I am going to look it up. Shit balls. I own this movie. And like, I always think of like 30 Days of Night, Day After Tomorrow. Like, it's in that realm.
Yeah.
28 Days Later.
28 Days Later.
Okay, watch this, not that. 28 Days Later. Here's why, the overlap.
Mm-hmm. Of the apocalypse. That's why I chose mine.
It's like rage zombies, kind of. Like, these are rage zombies that are basically mutants.
Yeah.
You get a lot of traveling through abandoned towns.
That's
skeletons.
True.
Shit like that. And Cillian Murphy's in it, which makes it ultimately one of the better movies of the whole history of movies.
So see, you leaned into the mutants, I leaned into the nuclear apocalypse.
Plus Cillian Murphy's junk, if you care about that. It's there for you.
There you go.
Yeah.
So let's get out of here.
Okay.
Let's talk about what we're doing next week.
What are we doing next week? Okay, Josh, we are doing something called, is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon?
It's not right. What's that say?
Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a
Oh,
dungeon?
I fucked up. Really?
Is that not what we're doing next because we just did these out of
You know
order?
what? I wrote it. Let's go with it.
But it is what we're doing next.
No, it is.
Okay.
Oh. This whole time. Sorry, let's try again.
Next week, Josh, we are doing something called Is It Okay to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? That is a long title.
It is a very long title. At the time of writing that down, choosing this, I had almost no idea what it's about.
Okay.
Apparently, gods are real, and they've come down to Earth, and they have little clans that people serve in, and that's basically the main thrust of the show.
Okay.
So we'll find out if it's any good next time, because it's our very first anime on this show.
Yeah, right.
Anime!
Anime.
Why not?
Sure.
And remember, we're finally done. We made it here. If you like the show, please give us a 5-star review on whatever podcast app or service you are using. And tell your friends about us any way that you can. If you don't have any friends, tell any mutants you might meet. Mm-hmm. We need the attention. We need the recommendations.
We do.
Links to everything, including our social media, are in the description of this episode. You can also find a website there where you can send us a comment or a question so that you can yell at us or ask us something. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and we'll do a mailbag.
Yeah, correction corner us. That's fine.
Oh, yeah. As always, thank you so much for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye!
Bye!
Let's get the fuck out of here!
Movie time, movie time, movie time!
I need food.
I need food.